This is historically accurate, and there is historical precedent for what is going on now, and it is very frustrating, as it was for silver stackers in the 1970s. It's happening again. If the 1974 high for silver was $6.25, that took us 5 years to regain, and 2020's high is $30, that is a factor of 4.8. So if you repeat what happened in 1979 and 1980, which I believe we will, and then some, the target price for silver at the top should be about $240, and that's if we stop there this time. And I don't think we will, because this time I think the dollar will spiral completely out of control.
Rafi Farber, known for his insights as the endgame investor, is a financial analyst with a keen focus on economic trends and investment strategies. Drawing parallels between the current silver struggle since 2020 and the challenges faced in the 1970s, Rafi Farber expresses a belief that history is repeating itself. As more and more physical silver was purchased and stockpiled by the Hunt brothers in Switzerland, supply became scarcer, and the price of silver soared. Between 1979 and 1980, the price for an ounce of silver went from $6.54 to $38.30, an increase of 485%. The markets responded accordingly, with people rushing to find any spare silver lying around their houses, and industries relying on silver seeing costs significantly increase. Looking ahead, silver forecast price and technical analysis predict that by 2029, the average price of KAG is expected to surpass $209.09, while the anticipated minimum is $203.28, and the potential maximum could reach $244.04. While expressing his bold belief, Rafi anticipates a slow climb for silver, currently struggling against the $30 mark. Farber gives a bold potential peak above $240 based on 4.8% increase in current level. Saxo Bank, the Danish bank, sees silver prices hitting the $30 mark in 2024 and the gold-silver ratio to decline to 78.3. They predict an increase in ETF demand, rising demand from central banks and a weaker dollar as the main factors for a price increase. Now we present the clips of Rafi Farber's insights from his recent video. Before we continue to delve into this discussion, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates. To the excruciating time that silver has been having, especially since 2020, when we saw that the dollars were being printed like they never before in history. And still, silver has not done much since 2020. It's basically stayed the same. And so I wanted to go back to the 1970s. This chart is courtesy of Gold Charts R Us. It's a great site. I have no affiliation with it. I'm just recommending it because it really is great. So we have here a chart from 1970 to 1980. And the chart ends at December 31st, 1979 here. And so we don't see the final moonshot here from about 25 to 50. So from this point, silver doubled in about 3 weeks. So we have here 1975. Here's where Nixon took us off the gold window, took us off the last vestiges of the gold standard, and silver did not react very strongly immediately. This is about August 1971 over here, and we see silver heading down into 1972, but then it started to climb from about, let's say, $1.75 to a parabolic top of about $6.25. So that's 4 times, 5 times, close to a quintupling of the silver price. And look at that. All the silver stackers started to go into silver and say, oh my God, look at that. We're off the gold standard. Silver's going to moonshot. And then we had a double top here. This is very similar to what we saw in silver squeeze. Let's say this was the August 2020 top and silver squeeze was February 2021. So there's another parallel over here. And then for 2 years, silver headed down, down, down into 1976. From early 1974 into early 1976, we hit a bottom. 2 years. And silver stackers are like, what's going on? Nixon took us off the gold window, took us off the gold standard. Why is silver going down? And then it started to climb slowly back up, but it took another 1, 2, 3 years until 1979, when we hit $6.25 again from 1974 to 1979, 2 months, less than 5 years. And it was excruciating for silver stackers. And then look what happened. We all know from 1979 to 1980, silver went from about $6 to $50. Now look what's happening now. Is this out of the ordinary for silver not to respond to crazy money printing? No, it's not. It just takes some time. This is where we are now. We hit a high in silver over here in August 2020. We had a double top during the silver squeeze movement of 30.
And then it took 2 years for silver to bottom in August of 2022. August 2020, August 2022. Bottom in 2 years. And now we have had 4 excruciating years of silver not reaching 30, a bottom here, and we're slowly moving back up here, struggling against the 250-week moving averages, and we're going to hit 30 again. And once we do, I believe history will repeat itself. Does it mean it's going to take another year? I'm not predicting that, and I'm not rescaling my time horizons here. I'm just saying that this is historically accurate, and there is historical precedent for what is going on now, and it is very frustrating, as it was for silver stackers in the 1970s. It's happening again. If the 1974 high for silver was $6.25 that took us 5 years to regain, and 2020's high is $30, that is a factor of 4.8. So if you repeat what happened in 1979 and 1980, which I believe we will, and then some, the target price for silver at the top should be about $240, and that's if we stop there this time. And I don't think we will, because this time I think the dollar will spiral completely out of control. And so as much as our emotions want to tell us this is a rigged game and this is not fair and something is wrong with the silver markets and this has never happened before in history, it makes no sense. Well, in fact, it has happened before in history. It makes a lot of sense, and it's going to end. Exactly when, I don't know. But we are 4 years into this. In the 1970s, it took 5 years. We're in the same patterns now, and there's no reason to think that it's not going to happen again. It doesn't mean it has to repeat exactly. It doesn't mean that it's going to take 5 years this time.
During the interview, Rafi Farber states a historic low in the silver price relative to silver stocks, suggesting potential investment opportunities. Previous instances of such lows preceded surges in silver stocks, highlighting the chance for undervalued investments. Despite silver currently trading at around $23 per ounce, a report from Oxford Economics believes that the demand for silver can rise by as much as 46% by the end of 2033, when we consider industrial use cases, and by as much as 34% when considering jewelry and other associated items. If capital conditions remain tight and silver miners are unable to meet this demand, then silver in itself might prove to be a solid investment. In navigating the Federal Reserve's tightening measures, Rafi Farber envisions a bumpy transition impacting lending rates and banking. He anticipates the buffer vanishing in 2024 due to Treasury needs, with minimal movement in the reverse repo balance by February 29th. Let's get back to the interview.
All aware that silver stocks are not doing very well in dollar terms or even in silver terms, but I wanted to show you this chart. This is the silver price relative to silver stocks, represented by the SIL ETF. It's not a great representation, but it's the best that we've got right now. And so we are at a 1 ratio, whatever that means exactly. We're at an all-time low of silver stocks relative to the silver price. And look what happened the last 2 times that we hit this level. Well, we have one here at bear market bottom in 2015, early 2016. And look at that. Right after we hit an all-time low, we hit an all-time high, or very close to an all-time high, very similar here. This was March 2020. And here, a few months later, we hit very close to an all-time high of silver stocks relative to the silver price. The all-time high was over here in late 2010 as silver was approaching 50. So what's going to happen here? I don't know exactly, but I do know that the last 2 times that silver stocks hit this level, which includes our sponsor, Fortuna Silver Mines, symbol FSM, we promptly headed to an all-time high, or very close to an all-time high in silver stocks relative to silver. Is that going to happen exactly the same way this time? No, nothing is exactly the same. But if I were to use history as a guide, this is a great place. And do your own due diligence. And this is not advice. This is a great place to buy very undervalued silver stocks. And this time, in the end game, whenever that happens, we are not going to go back down, because things are going to be repriced in silver terms as the dollar takes its final plunge of death. This is from February 26, 2024, and I wanted to scroll down to this. Only when the reverse repo balance reaches very low levels will the system feel the full effect of quantitative tightening, meaning we are anesthetized now because of the money that is being taken away by the Fed in quantitative tightening, meaning they are selling bonds, taking the money out of circulation, taking it out into their black hole of monetary nothingness. At this stage, The Fed has indicated it will slow and then end that program. We are very close to that happening. Nonetheless, the transition could be bumpy, to say the least, with banks potentially raising lending rates and becoming less willing to lend. Many analysts expect the buffer to disappear in 2024, with a range of predictions from late in the year to as soon as March. Exactly when it happens doesn't really matter, but it will happen this year because the Treasury needs money and they will get it from the reverse repo program. And just to update where we are on that, it has not moved much this month. This month, we began at $503 billion. And today, which is February 29th, we are at $502 billion. So basically, we have not moved at all this month. And why is that? I'll show you in a second, and the answer may surprise you.
A poll of 30 analysts and traders conducted by Reuters showed that they expect precious metals to appreciate in 2024, driven by conflicts in the Middle East and central banks starting to ease their monetary policy. The poll predicts a median price of $24.85 per ounce in 2024 for silver. How do you view the historical patterns in the silver market? And what factors do you think will have the most significant influence on silver's future performance? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to support our channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos. See you in the next video.